let's talk about thermal durability first. What do you think that means?
The heat.
The heat, the temperature. Okay, so that's a couple different things. The first and foremost is the bags, the temperature going into the baghouse exceeded the maximum operating temperature of the filter. The bags got too hot. Okay, and this is a real present challenge that you have at the plant, is to make sure the baghouse never gets hotter than the maximum temp of the bags. When the bags get too hot, what do you think happens?
They melt.
Yeah, eventually they melt. Very good. On the aramid bags, they usually won't catch on fire, but the aramid can catch on fire and burn. But ultimately, if they get really hot, they just melt because they're made out of a synthetic material that's made out of petroleum, right? So they just melt. If the temperature just goes, for them to melt, so the temperature for the aramid is like 400 degrees, they would need to go up to like 800 degrees and then the bags would melt, right? What's more often going to happen is the bags goes past 400 to like 450, 500, and then go back down, right? Maybe there's a surge or something, production, whatever happens, something breaks, it goes up above the temperature for like 30 minutes, an hour, and then it goes back down. So if you go look at the bags after that, they will look okay, but they've been damaged and need to be replaced. Because what happens is the fibers in the bag are damaged, they're like burnt, toasted, we could say, and now they're weakened. So when the bag is being pulsed and cleaned, it moves, and the bag will start to break apart fiber by fiber a little bit. So it's not that the next day that they will fail, but they'll start to have lots of failures in the next weeks, month, two. If they're really bad, they can also have a reaction where they stick to the cage real bad, right? The dust that's on there can react somehow, and they can become brittle, right? But that's usually what happens when they exceed the temperature, just a little bit. If they go really crazy, then they melt or catch on fire or something. But more often it looks like they get toasted. A different way the bag can exceed their temperature is if a spark lands on it. That's a little bit different. Now that would damage an individual bag or bags. So that's more common in places where you're doing cutting and grinding and stuff like that. It does happen here. That's why you have this thing, is to prevent that. If you didn't have this, more often you'd be sucking in bigger pieces that are glowing that might land on the filter bag. Right? So a lot of times it hits the bag and falls off. But in the aramid bags, like, because they're Nomex, right? That's why we use it. It doesn't like, they call it, doesn't support combustion, which just means it doesn't like catching on fire. It will, but it itself usually doesn't just catch on fire. So a lot of times the spark will hit it and fall off, but all it needs to do is hit it and stick there, and then it'll burn a hole through the aramid bag, right? So that's a more common expression of the temperature of thermal durability. A spark hit it and burned a hole through it, yeah?